Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rukal Kadash. Double honors to the elders GMS who rule well. Peace and salutations to the Lake Akim, pushing the truth on the four corners of this earth and doing sit downs. Peace be unto you. This is about Mary Jane, weed, problem and the issue with it beyond, the simple, it's other earth. Now, let me start by in the beginning of Genesis. This is Genesis chapter 1 and verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. And have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. Now, it says it shall be for meat. Something that goes in your stomach, you devour it, you chew it, you eat it, you swallow it, and it comes out your asshole, if you can understand. Now, if you want to take, weed and eat it, that's fine. The problem is what people do is they smoke it. They take it up, they roll it. Some people even lace that shit with fentanyl and cocaine and all types of madness and sickness. That's not what the Most High intended this thing for, or any herbs for. They're not intended to be smoked. They're not intended to be inhaled. Your lungs aren't intended to inhale smoke. Like for instance, if it's like a little, like let's say from an incense, that's nothing. But for the most part, if you put too many incense, you'll start coughing and choking. And that smoke is that when that's burnt, that's designed to, to be burnt. But herbs aren't meant to be plucked and just, burned. Now, Slack Now, another thing too is that people often say, oh, well, weed helps me relax. Well, that part of the problem right there is that it helps you relax. And some people say, oh, well, weed, if it wasn't for weed, I would have been to snap, because I can't go throughout the day, man. I've been going through so much stress. I need this shit. I would have been done, knocked somebody out, been in jail. And again, that's part of the problem as well. When you are so dependent on a substance that you actually need it in order to function straight, that's an issue. Now, getting, a little bit more specific. Now, let's say you have, been exposed to weed earlier. And a lot of people who end up smoking weed early learn that they use that as a coping mechanism to go through the stresses of life. And here's why it's not a good idea to smoke weed, because first, the verse I just read, that should be enough right there. That cuts it off. But going into a little deeper, let's say somebody, goes, smoking weed, and they find out that it helps calm their nerves and stuff like that. It helps them relax. It helps them meditate. Well, now what happens is that every time they go through stress, guess what they're going to do? They're going to smoke weed. What's going to happen when they want to smoke weed, but they can't afford it? Well, then if they need weed to stay calm and now weed is not at their disposal, then they're going to act erratic when they don't have it and they're forced in a stressful situation. Look at all the people that you know that are weed heads. And when they go through something, when they don't have weed, the rational decisions that they end up making. And now they might think, oh man, well, weed helps me make good decisions. That's because now you're an addict. And now most people look at addicts as in somebody who's shooting stuff up in their veins, or putting something in their nose. No, you're addicted to now weed, to where you actually need it to function. As opposed to if you had not been exposed to it, like for instance, I haven't, that's not to, brag about, my righteousness, but I've never smoked weed a day in my life. But I also, like a human being, as the sons of Adam, I go through oppression. So when I go through oppression, there's stuff that I do. I might, shadow box, might play a video game, might listen to some music, might talk to one of the Akim. I might talk to a friend in the world. I might meditate, might fast. There's tons of stuff that I do as coping mechanisms. Now, if you smoke weed, chances are you're not going to be using those following coping mechanisms, or the best ones, which is fasting and meditation. Smoking weed gives you that instant now gratification. If you fast, you're not going to, like, if you're going through oppression right now, if you fast within the next 2 seconds, you're not going to get instant gratification from it. You're going to have to, let your flesh suffer. That weed is instantaneous. Now you're relaxed. So because now you're dependent on it, guess what? That means that when you actually go through stress, you're going to need it. How many people, especially black women, got tattoos, weed, and they have a weed smoking problem. And look at they have erratic behaviors. Now, let's say you grew up poor, you're in poverty. Weed is not cheap. Now, let's say a person smokes weed and all of a sudden, and now they're smoking weed to handle the stresses of life, or they need it to function. They need it to think straight. They need it to, maybe they're a songwriter, and weed smoking helps them to, come up with songs or ideas. Well, the thing is, you can access some ideas and stuff like that by meditating, getting in this word, being around brothers. You're using it as an alternative. Heroin. There's some people that need heroin to function. If they stop doing it cold turkey, they'll start shaking. They'll go through withdrawal. So they are actually dependent on it. Even doctors will tell you, you just can't stop doing heroin cold turkey. They got to wean you off that shit. It's so bad that even if a woman's pregnant, they still advise her not to stop smoking heroin or doing heroin, however you take it, whatever, because it's harmful for the baby, because now the baby is addicted to it, and the withdrawals is not going to be good. The same with weed. Okay, you're dependent on something as a coping mechanism, and now you're spending money. You might not even have it, but you're spending money just to cope through stresses of life. Whereas you could learn other coping mechanisms by going through stress, because there's some stress that in order to get through it, you just got to just go through it, just ride the wave. Like, for instance, if you're going through financial issues, if you're going through issues with your wife, your girl, if you smoke weed, weed smoking ain't gonna fix, your financial problems. Weed smoking ain't gonna fix, the problems in your marriage. There's a song, I think her name is by Mila J. It's called Smoke, Drink, and Break Up. And the song is about only time as a couple that they get together when they smoking and when they drinking. And they smoke, drink, and then they break up. So in order for them to have a happy marriage or relationship, they have to smoke and drink all the damn time. So now, here's the thing. That song is a good example, because if you are sober, then you would understand that maybe that person, you shouldn't have been in a relationship with that person to begin with. But because you are smoking and drinking all the damn time and high, then you're doing stupid shit. And that concludes this lesson. And on that note, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash, double honors to the elders GMS who rule well, peace and salutations, and shalom.